Today I'm showing you everything you need to know about the Firebug class, all the best skills, weapons. This is a little bit of gameplay from a 500k damage on normal difficulty. Now you can do 750k plus on hard, a million damage on Hell on Earth because of the increased health pool. This is a straight DPS build. We can get the rocket launcher on wave 2 or the Vulcan as it's named in the game. I like to call it the rocket launcher. If you join in progress, you can get that on wave 2 by using the cell weapon trick that I shared recently, and we'll get a little bit into that in a moment. But otherwise, even on a normal game starting on wave 1, you can get it by wave 3 if you don't spend any money or just a couple hundred. You can easily spend 1,000 and still get the weapon, but you can get the weapon plus tier 2 armor if you don't really spend anything and have maybe a little bit to give the medic, as I did as well on wave 3. That was the beginning of the video. You can go back and see that. Also, you can see that on wave 5 I was able to give the medic another 2 grand plus. Generally in most games, especially if you don't max out your ammo on the last wave and spend that extra cash on ammo you really don't even need for the boss fight, you can very easily give the medic or the team $5,000 plus in the game, which is massive. You're basically buying the gun, the revive gun, and more for the medic, which is pretty cool considering you are a solid DPS class. We don't care about anything besides this gun, and it's very ammo efficient. It kills with little ammo, so we don't need to use that much ammo as long as we land our shots and land our shots well. It does deal critical damage, and you don't have to get the exact shot. Now for strakes and flesh pounds, you want to aim to like the left shoulder blade, upper chest, neck area. That will net you a headshot 2 times on normal difficulty. With those placement shots on a strake or flesh pound will take its head, so that is really sweet. On all the bosses, they all have weak spots, and if you hit it with a charge shot, which we get 4 max charge shots per magazine, that does massive damage. So I mean, it can unload really quick too if you just want to spam the shots. But when you land those charged critical shots, or even just a normal non-charged critical shot on the weaker elites, those shots deal massive damage. As you can see right here, the flamethrower is super sweet to circle around things. It can be switched to really quick. You can switch on and off between your flamethrower and your grenade launcher or rocket launcher, even when you're in the midst of reloading. So at any point in time, you can change that mode. That is pretty sweet. It is a little slow. You gotta really pick your spot and your timing on your dodge because you are pretty slow, but you got a lot of power. And now we'll get into all the skills and the weapons, everything you need to know. Moving on to the skills, we're taking damage reduction from burning enemies because all damage inflicts burn, and we don't really need this bullshit retaliation little thing when we get melee. Just don't get melee, and if you get melee, turn and shoot the enemy. You don't need that bullshit. 25 damage reduction though on the harder enemies. That's not bad. That's a little bit of damage reduction. That might save you. So that actually is pretty nice. We're going to be taking the direct damage, testing these all. Ground fire weapon damage. This bullshit is whack on all the weapons besides maybe the tier 1 a little bit. It's useful. Tier 2, 3, 4, it's pretty much trash. Don't need it. Time to kill trying to do ground fire takes longer anyway. This really isn't needed on the tier 3 and tier 4. I tried it. Time to kill with the flamethrower is about the same, but we're not going to be using the flamethrower anyway. I'm going to show you the setup for the flamethrower, but I tried and tried. It just has no comparison to the rocket launcher, so we're just going to fuck with the rocket launcher, and I'll give you the flamethrower setup if you want to play with it. So this right here, I mean, you really could take slow cook, but we really don't inflict ground fire that much. I'll get into a little bit more on why we never inflict ground fire, really. But fuel to burn, this makes it so we can do our wave 1 and 2 without having to spend any cash generally, maybe just like 50 or 100 tops. And also, if we ever do become like the last one or last 2 alive, we don't have to worry about ammo. We know that we're set. So I mean, it's just because this one is really so useless that I'm taking this, honestly. But you really don't need the ammo capacity either. It just makes the beginning of the game, if you don't get the bonus cast from joining in progress, a little bit easier, honestly. And that's why I have it there. And it's really nice to see that 2,000 ammo. That's pretty sweet too. It's just like nice seeing it there. Next, we're going to be taking this right here. We'll probably get back 30 armor at least in every wave. And once again, ground fire just sucks. I noticed how bad it actually was when I put this on and tried to actually heal from it. And tried to kill from it. It sucks at killing, it sucks at healing. It's just absolute trash. We will be taking the weapon reload speed. The panic little thing is nice, but we're mainly taking it just for the reload speed because that will bring us down to like a 3-second reload. Otherwise, it's like a 4-second reload, and that's killer. The Molotovs is going to be a little bit personal preference. I chose to have damage but not do the direct thing because this actually takes time to aim. I found it a little annoying sometimes to use, but I do want it to be able to like get me out of a corner of trash if I have to reload or put a little bit of extra damage real quick because you pretty much use the Molotov like just decide on an instant to throw it. So I just chose to make mine with extra radius and extra damage. But if you want it more for that ground fire, which is an option, I wouldn't really recommend the firecracker unless maybe your PC and you using mouse and keyboard. I find it so easy to throw on the ground so much faster than this firecracker, so I kind of like these two. I would recommend taking this if you want to go for the wildfire and how long you got the fire on the ground. Go for this right here. And then you can either take this if you want even a larger radius, or if you want to throw a little bit into the debuff, you can throw this right here. Like I said, I chose the all offense, but the Molotov is going to be a little bit personal preference. Moving on to the gadget, right now the heat therapy is bugged, so you actually get 2 times the value for level 1. I'm not sure if you upgrade this to level 2 or level 3, you still get double, but 60 isn't that bad. 80 would be better, but I've just been leaving it at 60 until I find out if I can upgrade it to 3 and get 80. But mainly this is if you don't have a medic on your team. This is just like playing with randoms. I've just been watching podcasts and movies and playing in the background to level up, testing stuff. So I don't always have a medic on my team, but when I do, then I use the ready for action because I'm not concerned about the health as much, especially if you got a good medic. Now, this is actually a really nice combo right here. This is why I run this. This gives you a lot of seconds on the extra damage and a lot of seconds on the extra wildfire, which kills the trash, which is nice. You can just run around and watch the trash die. Plus, we get bonus damage and bonus radius. So that combo right there is real nice. I did try that movement speed. That 35 movement speed is pretty sweet. And that gets upgraded, I think, into 40% if I'm right. This is kind of cool too. This does aggro. So if you want to go the defensive route versus the offense, you do have that option of taking the straight right path down. I would still recommend taking Hot Streak over this. And you could take this Rise from the Ashes if you're going to go the defensive route. Or even if you're just going to play on harder difficulties. If you're going to play on Hell on Earth or hard even. This can come in very useful. You go down. You don't even need to have it active. So you can play normal. And this doesn't actually use your ability. It's just if you go down, then you get this Rise from the Ashes option. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't actually, you don't need the ability up to have the Rise for the Ashes. So that is pretty cool on the defensive. If you want to go offensive then, Flaming Material. This is pretty cool. I did kind of like the idea of this, but there's one huge downside in my opinion. Once you use it, you stop and you're stunned there. So yeah, that extra wave is really nice, but if you're on a boss, that's like 2-3 seconds. The bosses get to move around while you're perfectly still and not dodging, and I don't like that. So I like this because I instantly use my ability, and now I can control the character, and I can inflict panic and heat as I do damage. So offensive, recommend this right here. And defensive, we have From the Ashes. Either way, we're still taking this. And like I said, we got this combo right here. This one I didn't really care for that much. I think if you're going to go the other route, you just either go defensive really, or you go offensive down the middle like I did. Moving on to the weapons, you only really use the tier 1 weapon for your first few levels up until you have the operational budget in order to start with the Dragon's Breath. But a couple of the mods that I like to use for the first few level were the Thermite rounds, Red Dot Sight, and Drum Mag. You will though need to create a very expensive gun. I did a video on this. Basically, create a tier 1 gun with all the mods as the most expensive mods possible. Those are the correct mods right there. Copy and paste. That's for when you join a game in progress, so you can sell the gun for the most amount of money. So our Dragon Breath, you will never use this. This can actually be deleted. That is completely not needed. But we have a starting gun. This will be for when we start a game, not join in progress, when we start on wave 1. We have the phosphorus shells, we have the shotgun choke, and we have the drum mag. That is your starting weapon when you're not joining in progress. When you do join in progress, we're going to be using the rocket launcher, but I did want to show you the flamethrower right here. This is the setup for the flamethrower. Copy and paste if you want to use that. It does kill slower than the rocket launcher, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun if you can sit there and dodge and now actually not get killed when you have multiple flesh pounds and streaks on you. That's the problem. And honestly, it's not that bad till you got multiple streaks of flesh pounds that just aren't dying quick enough. And that's when you got to get with a group, because if you're trying to fight them by yourself, you're just constantly dodging, which is annoying. And that's the real reason that the Vulcan, or rocket launcher as I call it, shines. I can name it the BFK G10000 Doom reference if you're not familiar, but anyway, this is the setup for the rocket launcher. You're just going to run this, copy and paste. That will allow you to two-shot streaks and flesh pounds on normal difficulty. Streaks, you aim for the left shoulder blade to the neck area, and that will be good enough to give you the crit on the head. And flesh pounds, you basically add you aim for like the upper chest area to the neck area, and that will give you a two-shot kill on the flesh pounds. And the sidearm we don't really care about. This is some bullshit. You don't need this either. If you're doing this, you're not giving the team money. I never use this. I always give the team money. You should get like at least like 5k extra in a game for the team doing this build too. And then we got the free money right here. Just another version of the most expensive way you can do the pistol in case you do a join in progress game. Just copy and paste that. Just all tier 1 shit. You're only going to sell this gun when you join in progress anyway. And that's how you set up all the weapons for the Firebug. And that's really everything you need to know for the Firebug. If you have any specific questions, just ask. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, share. It helps others find the video. I hope this helped.